we do. So
But
like,
that means time is still real though.
I mean, it may exist and be there. But I noticed this man literally just went straight to the live.
He did. He didn't give
Fine,
no
fine.
warning or
No
nothing.
warning, no context.
Nobody's even in here right now, so we're good.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking about the folks that might hop on later on.
Right now, you're but time. So we might be operating under a different construct of time. Right?
Right, right. Like I found out this summer, and nobody ever told me this, but like I think it's August, July, and August. They're like I think August was named after one of the Greek or Romans, like Augustus.
Augustine, yeah,
Or
Augustus.
Augustine. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And then which one was the other guy? Which one was I think July or June is another one. Like it's named after people.
Um,
I forgot
I
what they.
can't remember.
Wow, I'm tripping. I'm on the internet, bro.
You good? What up, Janae? Good to see
Oh,
y'all in here. We're gonna try to get some folks in the chat before we really start talking.
it was named after Caesar, like
Caesar,
Caesar.
Julius Caesar. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
And then all of our months are literally the Roman gods, like named after them.
Days too, right? I don't know about Roman guys, but I want to say days are named after people probably too.
Like what days? Like
Like days of
holidays?
the week. Nah, days of the week.
Oh, Sunday, month. Okay.
I don't know. I want to say I read something like that, but I'm
I would
not
believe
sure.
it if you said it. I believe it. Like
Should name
everything we
it
got
something,
here.
right?
Yeah. But so for the folks getting on, I know that we just now let y'all get in a random conversation. Just for the people that's watching it from the very beginning afterwards. But we got two guests here, two good people here that's gonna add in great insight. I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves.
Ladies first.
That's you.
Oh, first, okay. I was like, okay. Hey y'all. I'm Jenna Marie. Went to UGA with young Jalen. I'm an attorney in Houston, Texas. So I'm gonna be offering a little bit of legal insight today.
That's what's up.
And I'm Chanel. I went to UGA as well, and I am a therapist in Atlanta. So
I think you being the therapist, you probably got some real interesting thoughts about what you just watched. Say
very
what's up
much.
to my boy Daryl. Thanks for coming in, man.
So
I
there,
appreciate that. Appreciate the love, man. So we're here basically talking about the documentary, The Social Dilemma, and I thought it was really good. It was really actually a little troubling, and I think they did a great job in like creating that eerie
yeah,
feel to the documentary. Like a little scary. I feel like a lot of the things they talked about were kind of concerns I've already noticed myself with social media. I just never realized to like the extent in which they operate, in which like AI really analyzes our data and how everything we see on social media is like manufactured and we're not like running into anything by accident. What was y'all's like initial thoughts on the documentary?
It was real weird when they were just talking about how like when we're on our phone, like our phone knows when we're depressed and it knows like how long we spent looking at something. Like that was real crazy. Like the fact that our phone might necessarily know us a little bit better than we know ourselves is kind of wild. Like even while I was watching it, I kept wanting to pick up my phone, but I was like, no, like I feel crazy for doing that. But it was yeah, that's crazy. Like I'm like, do I even know myself at this point?
Not as well as that. Not as well as your phone, know you.
Exactly.
Right.
that's a good
Even
question.
I
do
don't know.
you even
I
know
felt
yourself?
like it was kind of scary, like the end where dude was like, in the next 20 years, if we keep down this path that we're on, like it's basically the end of civilization as we know it. That like legit terrified me because it's like because you can see it already, like people don't even listen to each other anymore. you know, like the whole thing in the documentary about how you're just, you know, I can go on YouTube and if I do like, you know, the earth is flat, it's just
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep giving me videos or like content of the earth being flat. And so at a point that's manipulation. Like my mind is made up about something and it's being reinforced constantly. So like when it's time to hear, you know, the facts, if you will, whatever the facts are at this point, you just don't even want to, you don't even have the mental capacity to listen to another opinion, which is scary.
The conspiracy part of it was like maybe the most I don't know, troubling part of it to me, because even me personally, I've been down that conspiracy loophole, and it's just like I'm at the point right now where I'm like, I don't know what to believe. Like, how do I distinguish what's like real news from what's fake news, and like what sources do I really trust at this point? So I'm lost when it comes to that, honestly.
Just for the people that may or may not have seen it already, or even seen a trailer or have seen a trailer. The whole thing is just all these whistleblowers at all these tech companies, letting us know how they developed each one of these companies into becoming monetized and gaining profit off of it, and basically ended up selling us to the advertisers versus the other way around. I think the part about the whole 20 years thing, but I'm gonna pull up my notes as well. But as far as like seeing that being really recent, or not really recent, but really near in the future, I easily could see that. Like there's too much going on right now, and with that confusion, like Jalen's mentioning, where you don't even know what's real or what's not real, where it's so easy to just be right all the time that you get to a point where I don't know. I feel like when people aren't really in tune with themselves, and it's hard for them to be patient with others. And whenever you become so polarized and everything, whenever you meet those people, and I feel like somebody's gonna get to that clicking point or that tick point where, just like with Kyle Rittenhouse or any police really, because I know they look at social media too. So like, just knowing that people's emotions can get riled up so quick about like politics, and the way this is conditioning us to be so sensitive towards things. That may or may not be the right word, but it seems like I can easily see something popping off. Like at some point where someone's just like, all right, it's time to get all these militias together, and now we got an army and we just gonna do our thing, because we have total different realities out here.
They talked about how they've successfully used it in the past to like influence populations. So like, who's saying that we're not being Voltroned, you know, like not being controlled, or people aren't trying to create chaos? And you even say Russia, Russia, and what was the other country that have done that to create chaos in our country? So
China.
Yeah.
China. Yeah. I want to say, what's up to Jordan? What's up to Jamin? What's good with y'all? And
What's up, fam?
Jordan said he felt uncomfortable. They high key have too much access to our personal lives and too much power overall, because they can make people believe whatever they want them to.
Exactly.
Seems like it, man.
Have y'all seen the documentary on Cambridge Analytica? All right, so Cambridge Analytica is this company that basically has helped many people win their elections and get in office. I think they've also helped Obama in the past, but the one that is so controversial is that they also have helped Trump. And in the documentary, it's just showing how they were essentially the people that made those Facebook groups, those fake Facebook groups that ended up having people I guess become super polarized, in a sense. Like they were what Russia used, and like how he was explaining in the show, that Russia was just using the tools. Like it's not anybody hacking you guys. No, they're just using the actual tools that you have on there. And I guess, manipulating our environments and our emotions and whatnot. So Cambridge Analytica was actually a full company that specialized in that. And they actually, I forgot how the documentary ended, but I know they don't exist anymore. Like they went in the court systems and everything.
I find it interesting how like Zuckerberg is always. I always see videos of Zuckerberg like in the court. Like I don't know if he's getting sued or what.
Right.
But isn't it?
Why are you always at court?
That's because he's doing some malicious shit, man. He gotta be.
Yeah, I mean that's like the thing. Like from the legal perspective, is the U.S. does not have any like data privacy laws or any regulations, and I think they touched on that in the documentary. But it just goes to show like how important it is for the internet and these tech companies to be regulated, because really like the internet is like the Wild West. Like it's a free for all in there. Like you can traffic children. You get stuff off the black market. Like they know all our socials, where we're at right now. Like if someone wanted to come bust in my house right now, that's possible. And that's not ethical. And I think that's I would say one of the main things of the documentary is just none of this is ethical. And you have to like draw a line, but I think that's where our country is just so, I don't know, where's the morals? Where's the ethics?
We were kind of talking about that, how we live like in this capitalistic economy, and when are we going to choose the side of like the people and not the side of the person making billions and billions of dollars? Because we put regulations on other things, like we were saying, they say human trafficking, slavery, but like this is affecting the lives of everybody.
Right. Even themselves.
Yeah, even themselves, because the people who made the stuff was like, yeah, I don't let my kids use this. Like personally, I'm addicted to the software I made. Like I gotta create software to get me unaddicted.
When they were saying like they create the software, but then like the software really just runs itself,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that is crazy. Like I'm trying to wrap my mind around what that looks like, but that's just, I don't get it. And how does technology just take off like that by itself?
You just tell it what to do. You give it its own y equals mx plus b. You know,
so why is that even a thing? Like, why are we allowing that?
Because they see the greater good, but they also see profit, bro. Like Jalen said it, but they never said it. Like, they kept saying profit. But in my head, I was like, wow, they're really not gonna say capitalism. They're really not gonna just say capitalism. And
like at the end, the man was like, he said something about like taxing the companies to collect our debt. And I was like, I like that.
Yeah.
Because they have literally everything.
We need some of that back.
At least that.
There was that one lady that she was talking about surveillance capitalism, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And she was talking about how like, I don't want to misquote her, but she was talking about how like in this situation, we are the capital basically, and like they're making money off of us playing this social media game and predicting what we're gonna do next, what we're gonna buy. And I'm just like, man, how do we come out as winners in this system, or are we just bound to lose? Like, I feel like the only winners are the social media companies and the advertisers. And right now, I feel like I'm on the wrong side of that shit.
Or people that don't have social media, they're probably winning.
Yeah. That's perspective too, though. Because I was talking with someone earlier, and I was like, it's kind of hard to have a business or do anything now without social media, because a lot of businesses run through social media. I kind of feel like we should be charging them for this data. Like, I should be able to charge you to get my data, like, because I feel like I'm basically being pimped out at this point. Like, you making money off of me just hopping on.
Right, but I'm sure when we sign up, there's something in them little fine prints that nobody reads, you know, that just give it all away.
Definitely.
And the crazy thing is that's what I do. Like at my job, I'm the guy that reads the fine print. So,
Yeah.
so all that stuff is
What it say?
you sign away all your rights. Your right to go to court, your right to sue. Like it's crazy. And they take advantage of the fact that it's these huge, thick ass contracts or terms and conditions. Regular person is not going to know like all the legal stuff that's going on. And when I want to update my phone, I'm not trying to spend 15 minutes reading through all that stuff. But I basically just allowed y'all to take all of my data and all my personal information, which is wild. And I think the only solution like that I see is regulation, because it's a free for all out there.
Definitely.
Okay.
I don't. As a congressman, it looked like the ones that were in there. That one guy, he seemed like he understood, and
Yeah.
he was like, "I think I'm gonna be dead, but I'm kind of scared for y'all."
Right. We got some comments in here I want to highlight. We don't realize is why we accept the terms and conditions on all these apps and we're giving them permission. How are the companies creating the problems also the ones that we look to for solutions? I feel that 100%. We can't look for them to solutions, obviously, because all the people who are presenting like the problem, they don't left the companies. It seemed like everybody that was in that video kind of got out because they seen how bad it was.
I wonder if they even have social media themselves now.
That's a good question.
It's hard, man. I would want to I would want to delete social media, but yeah, I'm attached, man. I'm addicted almost.
But that just plays on and Chanel, you probably would be better with this than I, but that just plays on our human nature and psychology, just wanting to connect with people.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about like if I got rid of social media, if I don't have your number, how would I talk to you? Like,
especially right now,
there seems to be it's right, especially right now. Then there's going to be like a disconnect, and that causes even more problems. But it's like, which problem would you rather have at this point? Clearly, I'm choosing to be addicted because I still have social media. But yeah.
I was gonna ask you, like, how have you seen the effects of social media, like in like clients?
I work with elementary school, so I don't see a whole lot for like people under 4th grade or 3rd grade. But there are like some kids who they can't put their phones down if they have a phone. Self-esteem is like going all the way down just because like you get on Instagram and it's like all these IG models and things like that, and then with cyberbullying. So it's definitely impacting like the self-esteem. And I know I was just thinking about, because they were talking about like screen time and stuff like that. And so now that school is virtual, they're increasing screen time.
Right.
And like, do you not allow your child to like play a video game or like get on the phone afterwards because they've been in school all day? Like, at what point do you like draw the line?
Basically in front of these devices all day now.
Yeah. And then like even when they see me, like I see them virtually after school. That's another 30 minutes to an hour that they're connected.
I feel like that really makes us more docile. Like how he was saying in the doc, he was saying people are more like children. Those children that he talked about has had social media since middle school. It was like I think the rates or the percentage of students trying to even go get their driver's license is going down. They're like afraid to, I guess.
Most people ain't been in relationships.
Yeah, I had read something like the age for kids like having sex, like kids aren't having sex anymore because they don't have y'all know how to spit game no more. It's just like that's crazy.
Oh man.
I can easily see somebody sitting here trying to get somebody's number to talk to them versus actually going and literally in the same room. I could actually see like kids being in the same room and like kind of like in the documentary, but not in the class, but like while you're having free time to go talk to somebody else, but actually just texting each other versus going to sit next to them and like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, I can see that happening too.
Or
Because it's more
like,
comfortable.
You said what?
It's more comfortable. People aren't having to be their true and authentic selves either.
not real interaction. You know what I mean? You got that. You got the mask of your phone to kind of protect you. It was like that point where they would show the guy in the cafeteria. That kind of that part just made me think about like, because they were saying like if you're not on your phone for a certain amount of period, they'll nudge you and then they'll get you looped in. And ever since I seen that, I've been like, yo, is this a nudge? Because like I don't even really care about this, but they sending me these messages, or like I'm getting this notification from Reddit, or you know, something that's not even really relevant to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so my phone knows when I'm usually on and when I'm not, you know, when I'm not there, and it's trying to get me tied in. And I see it like happening to me. Like now that I'm aware of it, like I'll watch it happen to me. I'm like, damn, bro, I'm still falling into this.
It's hard. It's hard not to. It's an addiction. In the beginning, they said that it's like two industries that use the word user.
Yeah.
Like the drug industry and software. And I was like, that's.
What does that really mean, man?
There are a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities. And social media is definitely a drug. That's for sure.
What y'all think of that saying when the dude was like, do you check your phone before you pee or while you're peeing? Like, have y'all ever realized that with yourself?
I check my phone before I pee. Like when I wake up, I might roll over and check my phone.
Before.
Just after that, I think about that every morning now. Like since I watched it, every morning I wake up. That's probably like the first thing I think of now. Where I'm just like, dang, let me go pee real quick. I'll come back.
Yeah. It's dangerous, man. Even just having the phone like near my bed. Like if it's near my bed, I'm gonna pick that shit up like almost as soon as I wake up. And I find that like even that small amount of interaction is enough to keep me going on my phone for the rest of the day, because I've gone through time periods where I'll try to like meditate first thing in the morning, or I'll try to like write down my dreams first thing in the morning. But if I hit that phone before I do any of that, my meditation is not going to be as deep, and I'm gonna forget my dream like that short. So it's interesting how that'll tie you in. And I got my boy KC right here. What's happening, man? I had to get you.
What's up, y'all? Look, y'all caught me with my mouth open. I was like, what's going on?
I know you distracted me, bro. I seen that face.
My bad, bro.
You good, man? You good?
I didn't want to interrupt, man. You sound like you was in the middle of something nice.
Oh, you good, bro? You good? I'm gonna highlight some of these comments real quick. We got my boy James. He's saying social media platforms use gambling methods to reinforce addictive behavior. That's why you have the infinite scroll and the dopamine release, or the good feeling when you get a notification.
Yeah.
They should say, one man said we created like buttons to spread joy. And one day a kid would be sad because they aren't getting enough likes. The cycle is a dangerous one. And yeah, they were saying it's like really like a dopamine hit. Like they tie you in and they hit you with a little dopamine, and then, you know, they keep you going, hit you with a little more dopamine. I thought one thing that was interesting was when they were showing the guy the emojis, and they were like, damn, I want him to choose the eggplant emoji.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what?
Like, am I really being manipulated to the point where it's like comes down to my emoji choice?
Did you doubt that before seeing the documentary that was happening, or did you know it?
No, honestly, well, I was aware of it to some extent, but I was like, you know, YouTube or my YouTube feed or whatever, it's because, you know, they know what videos I like. It's not like, no, this is like a form of control. I thought it was just like, you know, you click on a particular topic a certain amount of times, and, you know, that's just frequency type thing. But now I'm like, I don't even want to get on YouTube because it's like, Are the makeup tutorials even real? Like, what's going on?
Right.
Do y'all actually feel as though I'll say how exactly does it impact your life personally? Social media in general.
Positively and negatively.
Yeah.
You know, there are good things about social media. Like I found that I can find people who are like-minded on social media, which can be like positive reinforcement in my life. But also, like the negative part of social media for me sometimes is you start comparing yourself to other people and other people's success and how they're doing, even though like that's not 100% real. Like people only show you what they want to be shown.
Hmm.
But you know, it's hard not to like get into that frame of thought. I don't know, man.
I mean,
Sometimes social media can make me feel good, but sometimes it can make me feel depressed. So it's two sides.
yeah. I think it was interesting what he was saying in the documentary. So when he basically said like we're not evolutionarily designed, we have it evolutionary developed to the point where we're able to handle that much social scrutiny or that many eyes or that much judgment at once. Like from a biological standpoint, like our communities and our tribes were designed for us to have a few close relationships that we, checked ourselves against as far as like our awareness and whatnot. Like it was designed for that. And social media has placed things on, such an elevated platform that, it's difficult to deal with, that kind of scrutiny and judgment coming from so many places. Like being able to have your face and people judge or like wherever in the world. It's cool. It's cool. It's definitely cool because it's connective in a way that the world has never been before, which is revolutionizing like business models and social movements, which is great. But like the nature of the tool has certain consequences. Like it just comes with its own character, and that's part of it. It has its own personality, and that's kind of baked into the system.
Kenny, you're unique because you don't really have social media like that.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
You
I
can't
really
find Kenny on Twitter or Instagram or.
I'm really not. So like for work stuff, like I have access to like social media, like if I'm shooting or something like that, like I work with different platforms or whatnot or different artists to like release it. But as far as myself, like that's just something that I chose a different approach on. Like I still want to have access and I keep in touch with like the people that I keep in touch with. But like the way that I live my life is what a lot of people do on social media. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way that I live my life, like connecting with my friends. You know what I'm saying? It might be some time before I see you, but when I see you, we really update each other. We really talk. We're really thorough. And that's what keeps me going. Like that's what I live on, and that's what social media is too. And other people would prefer interacting through social media. I prefer in-person interactions. I'm a in the present kind of person. That's my personality. So, and I've also seen certain kind of consequences or certain tendencies with social media even early on. Like just being able to make that judgment, people will make it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really think about the inception of even like Facebook, it was based on it was called Face Mash. It was like, you know, choose which girl is hotter. You know what I'm saying? And like that's kind of manifested in some different ways, and social media is seeing that about itself now. You know.
What about you guys as well? Like I know for a fact Mel has social media.
I do. Kind of like that. It has its positives and its negatives. With the negatives, definitely doing a lot of comparing. I think like just having access to everybody's social life is not good. Um, because you do start to compare, like, oh, well, they have this, then I don't have this, like things like that. But then when it comes to like connecting, I am able to connect with people a lot easier. Like if I went to elementary school with somebody, like if they're not on social media, I'm probably never gonna run into them again. So I do like the aspect, but I try to give have a little bit of balance. Like doing the time limits and stuff like that on the phone, that helps. But then now that I've seen the movie, I'm like, not really do anything. Like, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's being a woman. It's kind of
That's interesting.
maybe I kind of feel like women are a little bit more affected because like we have all these beauty standards that like men hold us to, I guess. And I think like for me personally, like social media obviously does have, you know, its benefits and its negatives. You know, I'm there for the jokes and stuff, the memes, those are dope. But like when you start getting into like comparing yourself, and I kind of noticed it was a problem for me. Like there was a point getting on social media and just keep like looking at the same girls, comparing my body, comparing where I'm at career wise, material things. Like I had to like really step back and kind of reflect and be like, this is not healthy. So the point like you're standing in the mirror, like picking apart your face, picking apart your body when you need to be, you know, happy with who you are. So I think it's like, it can get pretty nasty, honestly. Yeah. And I think it's also affected my relationships too. Social media is just like ruined like some relationships, honestly. And I feel like, you know, if social media wasn't there, maybe things would have had a different outcome. But it's just crazy to see how, although there are so many good things, how the negatives can really just bleed into every single aspect of your life.
So I want to ask y'all a question, but I want to put some context before asking.
Hold on, Zach. Before you do that, bro, what about you?
Yeah, you didn't answer.
I was going to. Okay.
I was
gonna tie it in. I was gonna ask, do y'all think that there should be an age limit or a maturity limit on social media? Because like you said, how it turned into the guy once and somewhere in the video where he talked about how at some point they used to protect children on Saturday.
His own children.
Right. Like his own children are dealing with it now. So like do you think we should have an age limit? But the reason why I say that though is because since this is it's so similar to a drug and being addicted to something. And since it's also got its own objective to it as well, that also analyzes you. So it's kind of like a test as well. Then like one on the drug side, like as psychedelics, if you've ever read about them, you definitely should not even try them unless you have a good mental state. Like that's how you end up going downhill instead of actually enjoying and like just with like cannabis and like the lowest, simplest psychedelic we have. I feel like people need to have a positive mental state before they sit there and be, you know, smoking all the time or eating it, however you ingest it, whatever. And just like with the test, like how exactly am I supposed to work with this if I don't even know how they've set me up? Like how am I supposed to answer this? Like if I don't even know what to look for in the problem, how am I supposed to write my answer or pick the answer choice or whatever? So for me, I feel like I've been set up. Like I've definitely been set up because I think at the end of my high school years was when Instagram got big. Like Facebook, you used to have an age to get in there. I'm not Facebook. Before Facebook, MySpace.
Like MySpace and Bebo.
Dog,
remember Bebo?
Bebo
used to be the first type of social media.
Man.
Bebo, man.
Folks don't even remember Bebo. I used to, man, I spent a good year being mad at MySpace because I didn't know you had to change your age to 16 to get on it. I was stuck.
Yes, bro. Because remember the whole thing that got big with MySpace was the whole sexual predators and stuff like that. So people that got on MySpace's name big time because people were getting like lured out to places. My mom was like, "Oh yeah, social media, y'all be careful on it and everything like that." I was never pressed personally. You know what I'm saying? Like I always like I don't know. A lot of your friends are at school with you, and you do take things for granted though when like you enter the real world and everyone's in their own lanes and stuff like that. And social media really helps you be like, hey, everyone's working in their lanes, but it's easy to be able to look on social media and feel like you got that update with someone. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I think that's really cool. But then when you take a step back and you look at it, you're like, dang, I actually haven't seen you in a long time, but I feel like I know what's going on in your life, which is a cool feeling, but it's still like, hey, did we actually spend that time? Like it's cool too, but that it's got to happen for real too. That's I guess what I'm saying, you know. So, but I did want to respond to you too, Jenna Marie, on your comment about like its effect on women, because I will say like having seen, like, if y'all look at movies in the 90s and you see like a good example, this is the first example that popped into my head, Lil Kim and You Got Served. Like she was very petite woman, but she looked great, and there was no judgment on that. Now I feel like social media has just really kind of proliferated this image of like, you know, a certain type of cute woman, definitely big butts. So like we're talking butt implants and stuff like that. And you know, social media is showing love to all of those images, and you know, nobody can act like they don't. But when you go to a picture like that, you see a girl's ass out, or sorry, her butt out. and you know, you look at how many likes she has, and you're like, dang, that's validation. You know what I'm saying? And people are that measure is there for you to compare to. You know what I'm saying? Like what else is the effect of showing a picture with the number of likes below it? Let's think about where that takes us. What's the next step after that? You know what I'm saying? Like, especially
likes.
Yeah. What's the point of showing you that? You know,
you're supposed to be like stopping likes or something like that. Is that a lie?
They've been saying that for a minute.
No, they did do it. They ran out some tests. They did some test runs,
and they snatched it back, right?
Yeah. I heard a lot of people like, well, what's the point of Instagram? And I'm like, you can still connect.
Nah, see, people are looking for that now. People want to be able to. Oh, they up there, or I'm trying to get there. It hurts when you're at the bottom, though. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not up there. I'm not that bothered. So
I was gonna ask you, like, how do y'all feel about your likes on your pictures and stuff? Like, does it release that dopamine, or does it set a standard in a sense, or anything like that?
I'm gonna keep it a bean, y'all. Like, I don't get, like, if you don't hit that 100, it's like, ooh, this was not fire.
Taking it down, right? That's what they were saying. Did that speak to you? Did that speak to you? Were they like taking the picture down? Like she didn't get enough?
When I was younger, I would like definitely take a picture down, like if it wasn't getting like the response that, you know, I thought was necessary. Now I'm like, now that I'm older and, you know, I'm kind of in my own lane now, I don't really care that much.
Yeah.
But like, you know, what I was saying, it still can sometimes get to a point, like, you know, you go on the Explore page, you see all these fitness chicks, you see, you know, ass out, you see, you know, wearing all these little crazy things, and, you know, tons of comments. And then like, it's even like when you go out into the world, like into society, like you're getting judged like by men. Your butt's not big enough, or your waist isn't small enough. So you don't even get a shot. Like it goes like a step further, which I personally experienced. And it kind of like affirms everything that you've already been telling yourself based off social media. And it's like, wow, I can't even get no play in person, like no likes in person. There must be
What?
something with me.
I feel that.
Wow. Dang, that's deep though. That's deep.
Yeah.
That you're calculating, like at least tracking people's looks of, or at least compliments of approval, or some form of approval in that way, because likes exist. You know.
And it starts
That's
to play
crazy.
into people's self worth,
It
like,
does, yeah.
which is
But it-
crazy. And that's why I think for like younger kids, they don't need social media because their brain's not even developed. Like at 20
Yeah.
something, your brain still isn't even fully developed. So for them to be exposed to all these different things at a young age, like it's just ruining their minds already.
That's
Brain
interesting.
represent
That's
everything.
interesting. Yeah. Like I feel like I didn't come into the full form. I mean, I've always been me, but I didn't come into this form of who I am until like recently, really. Like I would say definitely like 25 for real, like where I feel like, dang, this is you know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm more me than I've ever, you've ever been. Like, I don't know if y'all feel that way or not. Maybe that's just me speaking personally, but just doing the maturing and growing and learning about myself, about others just around me, is really showing me like, yeah, it took time for this to happen. And I'm glad it happened for me in a way that it did. You know what I'm saying? But, everybody's journey is different. And, thinking about kids growing up, it's like, okay, you're getting feedback from your social media about not necessarily what's you or what's right, but it's what people approve of. It's what's in demand. You know what I'm saying? And it's not always what's true. And that's something that I always really try to focus on, is like really being true. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you use social media that way, it can be very powerful, but you just got to be in a headspace to really know what that means in terms of like yourself and being on social media,
Mhm.
It's not for the weak-minded at all.
Bro, I just want to
Right.
bring my boy Marcus in here, man.
Hey, what's
He's
up?
been waiting.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Oh,
Yeah.
man. Look, I ain't even watched the documentary, bro. I just
He just wanted to hop on.
I just hopped on. I saw Zach message late. I was like, oh, let me hop on here real quick. I see what y'all saying. Like, I think this whole generation is kind of like us with TV. I think TV was our social media, at least for me. It's like they soak so much of that in, it goes into their mentality growing up. So now, like, they're not even clout chasers, like, by definition. Like, literally, it's ingrained in their mentality. Like, how many people don't like what I'm doing? Like, what can I do to be seen?
Oh, yeah.
That's how I feel. A lot of younger people, not even 10 years younger than us, like 5 or 6, they automatically trying to get likes out of, like, real life likes, like kudos. They want kudos and confirmation from everybody. So
Right. Right. That's a good point, man. That reminds me, my cousin is she's 3 years old, right? And we get on FaceTime with her sometimes with my uncle. And when we were wrapping up the FaceTime call, like, you're like, all right, cool, we're gonna see you. Bye, bye, bye. She said, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe my channel below. And she hit a little pose and waited till we hung up. It was hilarious. But she's 3 years old and she already, like, she watch, obviously kids watch, YouTube, but she's already thinking in terms of likes and subscribes when we're just having a regular conversation.
Hey, let me throw that in there real quick though. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe. Go ahead.
Speaking of, right.
Hey, man.
y'all talk about the kids that have Instagrams and stuff, because a lot of kids do. Y'all talk about that?
Yeah. Now we haven't talked about it yet. I was gonna say I had my students actually watch this with me.
Man, that's awesome, bro. You getting to teach your kids some cool things, bro.
Well, yeah, I mean, we was just comparing it with 1984. I always, you got to keep it in the curriculum and whatnot.
But that's next level, man. That's the way you work that kind of system and still teach your kids some real, real stuff, real truth. Right?
True. They watch it and basically just related it to feeling like they just being brainwashed. And I'm like, yeah. You brainwashed. Like I even before we even started the school year, like fully, I already told them you're addicted to TikTok, and they went on a 3-month little fast. Not 3 month, 3-week little fast from it, like successful.
Wow.
It wasn't like they were that girl in the video that broke the container for her phone. It wasn't nothing like that. But as soon as they got their phones back, right back on it, right back on TikTok, right? Just whatever all the dances are, like they was on it, bro. So it was interesting to see. I feel like I just want them to tap into the other side of social media. Like if I can just get them to tap into how to use it as your tool instead of being the tool, and like that's my goal, man.
Man, I so wholeheartedly agree with that. And you know what? I would say I would apply that same logic to money, right?
Yeah.
I would apply that same logic there as a tool and not the end. If you look at social media as the end, it becomes some kind of moral compass. But if you use it as a tool, you put it in its place and it becomes secondary to your use. So that's like playing the game and not letting the game play you, because they say, somebody has said this, we are the work that we do, or we become the work, or we work, what we work on works on us too, right? And being mindful of that in the sense of like keeping things in their place.
That is true what she's saying.
Yeah. Nah, go ahead and mention that comment.
Yeah, them kids, the YouTubers, that's true. Because they see these folks making easy money. I'm like, I want to grow up.
I want to be a YouTuber myself.
I think kids can see the potential and stuff. I just think, it comes down, like, as a parent, as an adult, you have to know that you have to force the balance to be there. Like, you have to moderate a kid's consumption of something, because they'll just consume until, it's become super unhealthy. Like, it becomes toxic. So I just think it comes down to that when it comes to like the kids and anything, even for us. Like I set the little reminder about how much time I spend on Instagram and Facebook, and I used to spend hours. I spend like 30 minutes on Fox.
Yeah, true. That's interesting. Screen times. That's an interesting thing. Like I don't know if y'all have ever been dating people or just curious with your friends, but check the screen time. Like, what's your screen time? Like,
they should make that a game.
That's something that's interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, I'll grab my phone right now.
I mean, like more so, like we can do that, but what I meant was that
what I was really saying
right now.
I'm a little nervous about my story, what I'm about to put up here. I feel like when you go out to lunch or something like that, bro, like, all right, whoever got the lowest screen time get the
interesting. Yeah, I like where you went with that. I like where you went with that. That's cool. That's cool.
Bro, my screen time about to be.
All right, we ready? Who going first?
Who's going first?
I'm gonna opt out.
Are we going daily screen time? Or are we going weekly screen time?
I got a whole work shift.
What we doing?
Dang, is it? I'm at about 6 hours.
I am at 11. What is going on
Today?
I use my phone during work though.
9:25.
Okay. 9, 10. That's 10. That's round up to 10.
Yeah.
Let's say 6, 6:20. Okay, I believe that about Jalen though, because Jalen, you're a present person, bro. You like to be in the moment, and I know that about you, bro.
Nah, I feel like this isn't accurate. Honestly, I spend most of my time on FaceTime, like with little baby.
Hey, y'all in the comments, man. Y'all playing the game.
Yeah, go ahead, post it on.
Let's see what y'all got.
I got 6 hours. No,
6
Oh
hours.
man,
6 hours.
it's funny. I'm out 6. Most of mine is entertainment though. Yeah, most of mine is like YouTube.
But I be using YouTube.
Gotta get hours on YouTube.
Yeah.
Man, YouTube has so much content, man. You can learn anything. It's crazy, man. Like, yo, and to tie that back around to liberation through education, hey, that's unlocked. Shout it out. But
You can get 7
what is
people.
that?
Yes, we can get 7.
What is that? Is that not trippy?
Who is this? Bro, who you just add in?
I don't know.
That is funny.
Hey,
Look at all of us lean forward like this.
I know, we like.
I don't know if they're about to hear.
Oh
I don't know if they're about to hear.
Yeah, we can hear you. We're looking at this horse.
it's good.
Everybody looking.
Why am I looking at this horse so hard, dog? Who is this?
Everybody looking at the horse hard. Everybody like, oh shoot. It's a rogue person.
You got 4 out. Oh, nah, Tiffany, go ahead and say
She
it.
said mine is
What's
too
happening?
high.
What's up?
You can't be
Yeah,
hurt.
bro, it's good,
She don't even want to talk about it. She said it's too
It's
high.
okay.
Look at
445.
Daryl said
What's happening?
442. He don't be on his phone at all.
Right. He works
Daryl.
'What's up?
70 to 80 hours.
Daryl
Hey,
a
guys.
slow texter. He like me.
Oh no, come on, be a gentleman. Be a gentleman. What happened?
What?
Y'all done got hacked, bro.
Man,
Y'all got
Yo,
hacked.
the
Yeah.
dark horse.
Ooh, see, this is why we need regulation.
Yo,
Right.
what was that? What was that for real though, y'all? But no, for real
I
though.
don't know. I want to hear if he has anything to add to the conversation because I don't just want to X him out. So
Jalen,
Actually, the check.
Oh really?
see what he got to say.
No.
You have anything
Back.
to say? All right, we gonna leave that one alone, man.
Yo.
I'm sorry.
He said Old Town Road looking at.
That was crazy, man. You just never know out here.
So y'all know how y'all got that feature that'll let you like limit, how long you might spend in a certain app, or like how long you might spend in a certain category of apps, or if you go over a certain time period, it'll lock you out. Does that actually work for anybody?
No, because I have it on Instagram and it'll be like, remind me in 15 minutes. And I'd be like,
Okay.
I do that too.
I don't even choose the option anymore. I
You can just go around it. Like,
just ignore for the rest of the day.
ignore for the rest of the day. Yeah.
Dang. So it is apps out there that exist that will lock you out and will not let you unlock it even if you reset your phone. I got a homie who put that on his phone because he be on Facebook and YouTube like that. Even if he does a factory reset on his phone, it's not gonna let him in. He honestly has to be straight up and wait.
What
You know
app
what
is
I'm saying? I gotta ask him. I can find out if you need it, but it put real clamps on it, and
What is the black?
no lie, he will not be on. You know what I'm saying? He'll be like, "Hey, bro, I can't get on YouTube, bro. I gotta use your phone. I got my shit locked."
So what's going on, bro?
what is this?
Like horse with we don't know, man. I'm sorry.
What is going on, bro? Like, oh,
This is a dark horse, y'all. Like this is stuff we be talking about.
Okay.
This is crazy though. I mean, how did he even get this?
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? How did he even get the link? You know?
If people want to join in, the link is in our it's in the caption of the video.
Just go ahead and close it down.
Well, I got to choose the admin, so I got full control.
You think you have full control.
Stiff arm. Okay, we can't let him derail us.
But I will say I got to a point close to you, Marcus, on Instagram. Like I was at like an hour for Instagram at one point, and that's when I was like reading nonstop all day and everything.
Mhm.
And then I realized everything on my Instagram just went away. I was like, bro, what happened? Am I out of the algorithm now? Like, did I get shadow banned? Like what happened to my stuff? Like, I was like, dang, hey, my views going down. What's going on, bro? And I had to think about it, and I was like, I literally had to get to. I guess that kind of forced me to get to what I forget which one of y'all said it, Chanel or Jenna, but it kind of forced me to actually learn myself in a sense, or kind of like be just in with myself, just solitude. I was like, I can't get all upset about an app. Like, why am I about to be tripping over Instagram? Like, it's Instagram, bro. Like, I get y'all. Did y'all see the girl that end up crying because the likes were off though? Like, I can't get to that point. I can't get to that point.
I don't think I've gotten to tears.
She was like an Australian influencer, and the thing is, she makes her money off of it though. So she was like, when it went away, and she couldn't get money from the advertisers that was paying her, And she started crying. She's bawling and everything. Like, y'all ruining my life, all this stuff. So I'm like, I couldn't get to that point. But it's crazy how if you get away from it for too long and try to come back, it's not going to be the same.
What you mean, in a good way or a bad way?
That's perspective, bro. That's perspective.
Well, I'm saying, okay, in what way you saying? You saying it's like, oh, I missed you, or like, no, I'm good.
Just the no, just the whole experience with the app. Like it's different when you have X amount of people interacting with you on a daily basis, and then getting to this X amount of people that you're interacting with on a daily basis. So it was kind of one of those things where, like, since I felt connected to so many people, I felt good. I'm like, okay, shoot, I'm living life, you know. And then when I felt like I disconnected, and I was like, dang, nobody care about me no more. Okay, all right. Like, but that's just my experience with it. Like, I don't know if anybody else.
Well, so I went on like a social media hiatus for like 3 months when I was studying for the bar, and that was last summer, and like slightly, but
that's what's up, Jenna.
So, the first few weeks I felt like a crack addict because I deleted the app, going back to like download it, or I would get on like the internet and just go to Instagram.com and like
you cheated big time.
But as time kind of went on, so like by the time like 3 months passed, not having social media in my life was actually kind of peaceful to just kind of be in your own world.
Oh my God, that's my heart.
Your family, your friends, like things that are happening like in present time, and not having to like show everyone what I'm doing. I don't have to worry about what other people are doing. And then like after we took the bar, I downloaded all my social media back, and it was honestly really hard to get like back into the swing of it. It took me like a month for me to get back into full addict mode, but it was kind of weird. I was like, I don't even have like the need to check it.
Wow.
But it's so interesting how quick you can be like, okay, I don't need it in my life, to once you get back in the swing of things, it's like addiction, like back like I never left, basically.
Right. And I think the argument of the film or the documentary is, if you're feeling that way, it's for a great reason. If you're feeling like, oh man, I just got sucked back, somehow I just got sucked back in, it's because it's for a good reason. It's programmed to do that. That's what the algorithm is designed to do, and using our psychology, you know what I'm saying?
Trying to do, yeah.
Right. So that goes to explain that,
All of these marketers and social media, like people who design all this stuff, they really psychology people. Like they all took the class. They know how to basically give positive incentives to the mind, or give these little stimuli to the mind to make you want to come back for more. It's like one little piece at a time, one little light, one look this, one look that, and then you just stuck.
You back in.
Right.
They were showing that. They were like, okay, he isn't using his phone. Let's hit him with a story about his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend. And then we gonna show him an ad about these clippers that he might like. Ooh, and then we gonna show him his favorite music artist or his favorite Epic Fails video.
That was funny. They had the barrage ready, man. Let's send him a message. Let's show him that his ex is not in a relationship. I was like, oh shoot. But just think about being able to track all that. You would be interested, like if you cared about that person, or if you like watching fail videos or whatever, So that's crazy. But what's interesting though, I'm just having this thought right now, hearing y'all talk about this. Like, the fact that we're even having a conversation like this, or the fact that people watch Social Dilemma and they're thinking about technology being used in that way, it inevitably like raises our awareness and like consciousness of like our tendencies as humans. Like we're not really what we seem, right? So like if we ended up in this whole kind of like rapture with social media and we didn't know how we got there, and then they tell us, hey, actually behind the scenes this is what's really going on, like we should be able to like now take a take a step further and say, okay, well, if social media is like this and these things are true, like what other things might be like that in my life? You know what I'm saying? Not to say it's designed to do that, but what other things might you be compelled to do, you know, for reasons that may be out of your own view, you know?
I was gonna actually ask you, Kenny, because I was like, is this not a form of that? What you call the communities? Self-generating, self. Is that
Oh,
what you
like
said?
self-organizing.
Self-organ. Isn't that similar? Because okay, we're being organized by something that analyzes us to organize us in that way. So
Yes.
is that not a
Yes.
form of self-organizing in a sense?
Yes. The networks that are created through social media are they're self-organizing in a sense. They're based on relation or degrees of separation, right? And as people join, the network effect occurs. So as more people come, the system becomes more effective. So it incentivizes growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I thought that. But what did y'all think about the Myanmar situation? With
That's
that,
crazy, bro. It's a
where
lot going on out there.
just for the ones that haven't watched, and Marcus, basically the country, whenever anybody in that country gets a phone, it already has Facebook like there for that's the first thing they get on is Facebook and log in. Like I knew Facebook was big in other countries because they literally use it like email and like it's literally like their news and whatnot.
Exactly.
But to know that a country is literally basically kind of forcing you to, hey, let me get your data real quick. Go ahead, get your phone. Let me get your data too. And like, I was like, wow. Imagine. I actually thought about writing a book literally about where you literally had to have a phone on you at all times. But now I see a country is literally doing it.
Yeah. And you know what? Because I think in different countries, like it's crazy, man. Like developing countries, their access to resources is drastically different. So we end up with like corporations like Facebook or Dannon, like these are other situations that they end up providing infrastructure to small nations. You know what I'm saying? Like Facebook being able to do that on the phones is a form of like telecommunications infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? And like Facebook, yeah, they're taking advantage of all of that. They're capping on that. You know what I'm saying? These people are forced to be a part of the network. You know, that's just how it is.
I'm gonna add Cam in, man. I seen you joining the stream. What's going on?
It's
What's
good.
up, man?
Family, how you guys are doing?
Good,
I
man.
love what
Doing
you
all
guys
right.
got going on here.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
I especially really love what you just said about how controlling the network in regards to the Myanmar situation. Just because I'm not too versed on what was going on, and so you guys kind of educated me on that.
Oh man, I'm just now learning about it myself, bro. So no doubt.
Most definitely.
Yeah, bro.
Got somebody else in here too. We got
It's good, bro.
Good evening, everyone. How's it going?
Hey, how's it
well,
going?
My name is Marquise. I went to school with Zach since middle school. You guys just been inspiring me. This conversation, I've been listening in, so I just want to join and try to add some input to it. Hello, my sister.
Thank y'all for
That's
joining.
awesome. That's awesome, man. Yeah, good.
Exactly. I appreciate
Glad
you
to have y'all.
for the invite.
Yeah, Cam family too, man. Like,
How much, man?
so yeah, I appreciate y'all coming on. But yo, that's
Chanel looked up. She's like the Brady.
Yeah.
She's like the Brady
Nah,
bunch.
that's what I was thinking too, bro. When she looked.
Yeah.
But man, have y'all seen the documentary as well? Like, did y'all watch it? Marquise and Cameron.
Nah, I haven't, but I definitely checked out after that. I saw the DM you sent me, and then I looked at the video, and I was hearing the discussion. I was like, damn, all right, these some sharp folks. Let me go ahead and join in. But then I wasn't sure if I was watching something that was live or if it
was our pre-recorded.
I was like, this live thing is still black.
Yeah. Man, what do y'all think about like how it's conditioning y'all lives and whatnot then?
Like social media?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, when you look at the way the information as a whole, so I'll be honest, when you look at the idea,
So I can't hear you guys over Cam.
My bad.
Oh no,
Am I too loud? I was just
No,
going
you
to say,
wasn't, bro.
there's an overall scarcity of information, and when you look at the streams that people go to access, a lot of people, their only source of like news is social media daily, and when that's the case, like the conditioning from that, especially because some people only follow people that they know that already like reaffirm their biases and things that their community, their family teaches, and so not. It's weird because you can really see like a lot of people's worldview is a lot smaller than everyone else. But you live in a society with people who they've traveled, they've learned, they've read, they can read, they can read. And so it's crazy because that conditioning goes very, very, very far. The less you can comprehend information on your own.
I feel that, man. And for me, it's just I have a trouble finding which sources I can really trust out here. Because you see like, you know, even our president talks about how, and I don't trust our president, but he talks about how like even the news channels are putting out fake news, and then I got fake news on my Twitter timeline. I got fake news on my IG. It's like, you know, who do I tune in to get this real information?
Man, you know, that's really a big question. And I try not to allow this notion of fake news to ruin the notion of truth for me. Because like that's what he was saying. That's what he was saying in the documentary. And I've heard in other documentaries and other literature, the concept of fake news existing now causes you to question things that might even really be true. You know what I'm saying? So now this whole standard of truth is shaky, you know, and it's hard to really even find your truth or your belief or your perspective, because it's like, what's conspiracy, what's fake news, what's real news, you know. It murkies the water, and that's a dangerous place to be, really, you know.
I think now more than ever, it's kind of like you got to do your own research. Like, it's okay if one news source comes out with it, but it's like, all right, did somebody else say this? Can somebody confirm or deny this? And it's also like, what's the source? It just makes you think like, man, you got to actually dig into the news. You can't just take it for what it is. And even more so, not even with the fake news, but how they frame news. Like, depending on what news station you're watching, they're gonna say the same event happening in a different way, whatever fits their narrative or their agenda. So it's kind of like, take everything with a grain of salt. Don't just take it and run with it.
Man, you're so right. And on that note, one of my friends ended up telling me this, and this is something that comes with just the internet in general. If you type in any random number of COVID cases, so make one up and Google it, right? Say 138 COVID cases, right? It's gonna find a news article for that, right? And then if you type in another random number, 214 COVID cases, it's gonna give you an article for that. Think of any number. If you say 10,791, it's gonna give you a hit for it, right? It's gonna find an article or compose. I don't know if it's composing the article, but it's gonna find an article for every number you type in. Just try it, right? Just go Google any number. COVID case.
It's kind of like, I know what you're saying. Like, I watched this interview when the president, he sat down with this one, what is it called, a journalist or whatever. He's sitting right in front of him. He was showing him this graph. He's like, well, we're doing so good. Look at the graph. Look at the numbers. But it's like, if you've ever taken a science class, you know that there's a certain way, like a scientific method, like a certain way you're supposed to look at information. So it's like, you can't say, oh, this graph is right. But if you put this graph and you change the Y index, the Y axis or whatever, so it'll actually show the numbers, and you could, to show the numbers the right way so people can better understand. Right? It's just different ways you can manipulate information to make it look how you want it to look. And if you don't know the ways that you can manipulate it or change, then yeah, it look different.
But I know that when you talk about I know the exact one you're talking about. Like it had the dates in separate spots. Like February might have been further to the right, so then it looked as though it was going down. But we're really like into April, June, like so, like it was.
That's
like
crazy.
I think somebody put that out on Twitter, and I was like, bro, this man really tried it.
He just gave you a backwards chart.
Yeah,
but no, even so, it's like
That's
if you do like a logarithmic scale on your y-axis, so instead of it's 100, then it's like 10,000, then it's like 1,000,000. It just look like the curve will flatten quicker than it will if you just did the same increment, the same scale going up. I don't know. That was like a Vox video I saw.
Interesting. Yeah, I agree with you though, as far as like just putting your own stories together. Like I think the advantage to being able to use social media, or just like think about YouTube, think about the information that's available. Like you can literally, if you want to learn something, and here's what's changing the game up. If you know how to conceptualize or how to translate what you want to know into a searchable phrase by category or by subjects, you can find a lot of information. You know what I'm saying? You can really find, if you know how to research stuff and weed through information, filter out information, come up with the phrases, look at an article, find a keyword in that article, and then go search it. You can look for the information. So to your point, Marcus, it's like you do have to be somewhat of an investigator with that, but like we have to sift through this information, which is you end up with a better understanding, but you got to put the BS to one side and then, kind of read between the lines.
Tiffany said the titles can be misleading. It's just like a YouTube title or something. Like they always drastic.
Yo, Jenna and Marquise, how exactly would you, like, is this related to law with what he just now said, as far as like the certain ways you word things? I know in like court you can easily word something in a way that can get somebody jammed up. Or just saying, like, I've seen a tweet a while ago. I even saved it in my bookmarks. Just I got it in my notes for like police. Like if I get pulled over, like it's in my notes just for that. where it was like a whole list of things you can and can't say. Like don't even say yes or no to this one. It said just say officer, my eyes were on the road. Like it's like a list of things to say.
Wow, bro.
So I was like, I'm thinking like, how exactly is that in with law? Like as far as like changing up words and stuff like that.
So, I mean, that would fall under, libel, which is the publication of false statements that, affect somebody's reputation. But the thing with libel and defamation is such a high standard because you have to prove that there was, like intent to harm somebody. And then there's an exception, like if you're a public figure or a celebrity, you're not really owed as much privacy or, as the a regular person. So it's kind of hard. Most people just settle, but like it just goes to like, as a journalist, as a media outlet, you have to be responsible with what you're posting because, people's lives do get ruined behind misleading titles and misleading information. That's not true. But unfortunately, like the standard is so high, it's hard to even go through with a libel claim.
I know it's kind of off topic and it's a touchy topic, but this reminded me of like the whole concept of like libel, defamation. Reminded me of like on Twitter, the whole movement or wave of accusations that came out on Twitter at UGA about all these sexual assaults and blase. It's kind of like that. It's like you have to be careful about what you put out. Not saying that the Me Too movement isn't a good thing for people to feel like encouraged to tell what happened to them, but it also can get dangerous when, you don't know if everybody's story is true, and then all of a sudden you're gonna cancel somebody based off of what somebody else said, but you don't know if they're actually saying it because it actually happened to them or they just want attention, likes or retweets or whatever.
No, I totally agree with you. It is a sensitive subject. I think if you ask any woman, myself included, we've all experienced some type of sexual harassment, whether it be verbal, physical, sexual abuse, rape, things like that. I think like, Me Too, this is obviously kind of a little bit off topic, but Me Too at its heart is something that I think is very important. We need to change the culture when it comes to the treatment of women, violence against women. But it goes back to, you know, the whole libel defamation thing. You have to use the platform responsibly, because then you're defeating the purpose of what the whole movement is about. It makes women, you know, who have actually gone through things like this uncomfortable to even come forward, because you get victim blamed. And I think that there does need to be some type of law in place for people that false reports, falsely make statements about, you know, men being abusers. Just because it's the repercussions you can have at your job, just even like your reputation, like just socially. So I think that's something that also needs some type of regulation, and the law definitely needs to do better at handling stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bell you can't unring.
No, you can't, and it's hurtful.
It's
extremely detrimental.
Yeah. Even if you take it down, it's like the bell still rung for whoever saw it, and it's like just the thought of, did he do that? Could be the difference, like you're saying, Jenna, between a job, relationship, whatever, you know, opportunity, you know.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think that's one of those positive and negatives of social media, because I know a lot of people use Twitter like school. Like they learn more off of Twitter than school. So I think it's a great thing for creating awareness and stuff like that. Because I definitely didn't know it was like I think the data was like 3 to 8% of rape accusation, rape assaults. Wait a minute, what's the word I'm looking for? I think it's accusations. Like 3 to 8% come back as false. Like the person was innocent. So that's like a 92 to 97% chance that
They're telling the truth.
Exactly. So like for me, when I'll say throughout my growth and just analyzing myself, I know in the past I definitely probably would have been somebody to be like, bruh, man, she probably just blah blah blah. Like maybe, I don't know. I haven't been in that situation for like even for any peers or anything like that. But in not like now, after knowing that statistic and everything, I'm like, well, I mean, she's most likely telling the truth, bro. Like he probably did. So like out of all the women I've known, many have had just from the smallest things of harassment, like catcalling, going too far, like just that smallest thing. And I see that, so I was like, I can easily believe that 98% or 97% is probably close to accurate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So social media is a good thing if you use it the right way.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. It magnifies certain things in a lot of ways. I think that's kind of a theme of what we're saying. Like it magnifies a lot, whether it comes towards eyes, approval, people seeing a certain image and feeling pressure, some sort of iron cast. You know, I think that may be bell hooks, but yeah, like it magnifies, and you have to know how to use it to really magnify in the right way. And I think that's kind of like part of the point. It's like there should be a certain ethos that people are visiting their use of social media with, and also the creators of social media, you know. So like I think that applies to both parties.
How do you see this in? Oh, my bad, Jalen.
I was just gonna ask, like, in what ways do y'all think that we can turn our use from, you know, social media from being negative into positive? And in what ways can we like get out of this trap of social media? Because like downtime don't work. Go ahead, Marquise.
So like I try to like think of social media like food, like what I put into my body. So if you look through my Instagram, there's more things that are gonna motivate me to get up and go in the morning, go to the gym. Things are gonna empower me as a black man to be a better man, be a better boyfriend, be a better future father. So going from high school to college, I have added everybody that I've came across on social media, especially my Instagram. And just recently, probably like the last 3 or 4 months, I had to delete everybody and restart because I was just feeding myself too much bad energy. I was comparing myself to other men. I was comparing myself to other people. If they're on vacation and I'm not, and I'm struggling at work, so I had to get away from that for a little bit and come back to it. So right now I probably have about like 80 to 90 people on social media, but I've been happiest I've been in so long.
Bro,
Congrats,
I
bro.
feel that. I feel that. I do that every couple months too, and I call it like my social media purge. So like go through my followers, like who I'm following. I'm be like, does this person does their content does it serve me? And like, do I even care about this person, or is me checking this person's story and post just a waste of my time? And I'll go through and I'll unfollow people.
Yeah.
I've like since I started doing YouTube, I've found so many things that line up with more so what I'm trying to do, like positive content, inspirational content, money related content, traveling, like people who gone to Africa, move to Africa. Like it's been throwing me. I feel like YouTube didn't have any Black creators doing positive stuff, but it wasn't until I started creating it and YouTube realized, oh, you like this kind of stuff? You want to do this? Oh, we got people that do that, but we don't put it on a trending page because they don't trend. It's not popular, but it's there. It's like you can use the algorithm to your advantage. So even with like Instagram, I purge followers too, basically because they might be people who not following me back. But I'm also following, like, I'll follow a celebrity if I feel like if what they're doing, if they're always trying to if they're trying to be conscious about what they're putting out, like advance the cause or trying to fight for something, like I'll follow them. Or I'm trying to follow Black-owned brands or whatever it may be. Like I'm trying to use the algorithms to help me reach my actual goals versus just distracting me with this, that, and the other. Like you can get that anytime. You can get distracted easily, but if you kind of want to keep it a balance and have some focus and some actual productive stuff out of your social media, you kind of have to trick the app and stuff.
I like how you said that, bro. I like how you said that.
And I think you have my bad. I think you have to have like a level of self-awareness. And people
that's a great word. That's a great word.
And I'm sure, y'all all know people who don't have self-awareness and it's ugly. You know what I'm saying? I think that's just like, for us to be better as a society, we have to be self-aware of our shortcomings, of our flaws, and, be willing to make the adjustments. And I think that's, part of it as well.
Yeah, there is a song. I'm trying to figure it out. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, my bad, brother. I feel like we all just grow eventually and we just cut those things out that don't really feed our soul as much as we used to think it did. I think that comes to social media. Like some of our old friends are still on the same things. Like, hey, man, we're a few years past that. We should all grow as people.
True. I think education can play a role in this. I feel like all of us being younger, I don't know. I'm 25. I'm having conversations with my 32-year-old brother, and we on the same page. Like he discovering the same stuff I've been kind of thinking about and trying to do. And it's like I'm ahead of the curve. Like we should be ahead of the curve of our elders and our peers. And it's like I think if our education wasn't geared towards memorizing stuff and just trying to spit out information for the test, whatever it may be, if we were able to encourage kids to be self-aware, to think critically about this, or I think they're incorporating social, emotional learning, at least in the economy they are. But that kind of stuff actually will help society be better versus having a whole bunch of people who not really prepared for adulting or prepared to be productive citizens.
Yes, bro. I totally agree. I think that social learning and psychology should be a foundational part of the curriculum. I think systems thinking should be a part of the curriculum. Teaching kids how to think about systems in a sense and using that to help support communities, thinking about how there's certain interdependencies that exist, right? So for a better for a social good, I think those things should be foundational in what kids are learning, and that'll teach us how to be more self-aware about the system that social media is, or the system of capitalism. It just teaches us to be more aware of okay, how do I navigate, Yeah, J. Cole, this is what I want to say earlier. J. Cole came out with a song and he was talking about his journey with social media. He came off of social media for a while and he would come back to it. And he's like, has anybody ever been addicted to anything? Like, he's like, just talking through what an addiction feels like. He's like, you leave it and you're away from it. So you feel like you're past it. But when you come back to it, it clearly feels like there's some more dealing with it you got to do. He's making that he's making that analogy. He's like, it's the same for me with social media. And he's like, he's been using it, and this was inspiring for me, just because like my relationship with social media. I wanna be able to find that kind of place and voice in social media where I really feel like, oh, you know what? I want to use it this way. You know what I'm saying? And I think that'll be the push for me to really that really causes me to really just use it in ways that I guess maybe I haven't, but he was saying when I came back to it, he's like, I learned that there's a certain pull, you know what I'm saying? There's something pulling on me, and that opened him up to even being aware of that pull. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, Jenna Marie, that was kind of his love. That was him coming back to social media and feeling a pull as compared to when he was off, helped him become aware of, okay, dang, I'm feeling that kind of pull on my heart, or I'm feeling that kind of pull on my dopamine, and I want it, I'm kind of chasing it, and he's using that to kind of help his discovery process. So I think that's a healthy kind of balance,
So I want to ask y'all, how do y'all see this playing into our social dynamics now with as far as the Black Lives Matter movement, as far as COVID, everything that's going on right now? Because I just know that this obviously plays a part into it. So I know we talked about the fake news part, so we don't really know what's going on with COVID, but just the sense of how it's influencing people to not even put on a mask, or influencing people to put on a mask, or how in the Black Lives Matter movement did this algorithm kind of get us to where we are now? What was its impact on this? How exactly? Because I honestly personally feel as though if my world looks this type of scary, just being in my black skin, then that world for my oppressor, most likely in my situation out here in everyday life, maybe a police officer, then their feed is also probably really scary for them. So then how exactly does that make this implicit bias going on? How does that impact a James Blake situation? Again, how did this, is there some, obviously there's going to be some form of correlation on a graph. You can make almost anything correlate, but what exactly is the intrinsic impact of this algorithm on our situations that we're in right now?
Let me answer that for you a little bit. One of the ladies in the documentary mentioned it in passing, but I think I don't know, but she said she intentionally subscribes to channels with people that have different perspectives than her, people who are on the other extreme to her. And if we're using kind of what we're saying, it's okay, how about we use this platform of information, images, to really help expose us to a diversity of people and thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Obviously it should be consistent with things that you care about, but it should be diverse enough for you to really hear, okay, dang, these are the different perspectives to it, and you can find yourself between that or within that, or aligning with certain ones maybe that you didn't before, thinking differently about something. So you can use it as a learning tool.
I can rebuttal that with when that person said, how do you get out of the matrix when you don't know you're in it? How exactly am I going to like those things or get to those points when right now I'm thinking everything that person says is bullshit?
You're right.
That's how I felt when she said that. I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk to who I don't like. I don't agree with you. So I don't know. Right. I don't know.
I think of
somebody
that.
post something that I don't agree with, wholeheartedly, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gonna unfollow. Why?
It makes me think of that part where it was talking about climate change, and where they search climate change, and it's gonna show you whatever you want to see. So like you're saying, how do you know if you're not in the matrix? Like, how do you know you're in the matrix when it's showing you stuff like that?
All right, y'all. What's the solution? No, I'm playing.
Delete some shit. That's what I was trying to
But
get
I'm saying, well, let's try to break through. Like, what would the answer be? Because what we said the danger was not knowing what's true, and right now we're talking about having that kind of hesitancy and confusion with having a resource of a lot of information at our fingertips. Like we don't. What needs to happen?
Yeah.
I think we can't believe
You know,
anything we read.
Okay. So part of my solution is that like these centers of influence, like these people, there are certain people, all of these props or whatever you want to call them, journalists, whatever. There are certain people that people watch to basically confirm their biases that they get their news from. Like people watch Trevor Noah because he gives them the news the way they feel like it should be given to them. I think something that he's done too, like he sat down with Tommy Lauren and have a conversation with her, like, okay, let's talk about these things that we don't agree upon because we're coming from two separate points of view. But if we're supposed to be in a democracy, a free democracy, we're supposed to be able to have conversations across the aisle, quote unquote. I think having those conversations with people who have opposing views are the key in both like the interpersonal and the social media grand scale of like putting out, like having conflicting views being brought out to the table. It's like a debate. That's having the debate on social media, like having those, like where I don't know who else. I saw what's that girl name? Candace Owens. She had an interview with the roommates. Like that's having stuff like that where people come out of their platform and they meet together.
Cardi B, when she interviewed Biden, is that what you're talking about?
No, she was on. I remember I sent you the video. It was these guys have a YouTube and they invited her on their podcast. It was like having somebody outside of their own thing brings people who have never met her or never seen her, and they get to see, and also her fans get to see this conversation. So it's like it's a meeting ground. Like if we had a versus for this constant political and social commentary, that'd be great if everybody tuned into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that, man.
And then for the platforms themselves, they have to. I think Facebook started doing that. Not fake news. What they started flagging stuff if it was like false information or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Like,
But
they controlling that though.
Is actually a right.
Who controls it?
One of the fact checkers is actually a right wing company. Like he was in court over that. So you got to even watch the fact checker.
True.
Like what do you look? Who is my fact checker?
Right.
That's true. I feel like every step you do have to fact check, but fact check the fact checker, but still, the platforms themselves have to put something in place.
I think kind of like Marquise was saying, for me, is like, I gotta have both perspectives. I gotta know what's happening on this side. I gotta know what's happening on this side, and I gotta be aware of that. And I can't take either of those like as fact. I gotta come to my own judgment based on these things, and try to stay in with maybe what I see myself agreeing with, or what makes sense to me. Because if not, bro, I just can't take anything from anybody just to be fact, and anybody could lead me down a hole. You know what I mean?
So Jenna Marie, Miss Legal, what would be the process for weighing that evidence out? If we were gonna try to reach some compass of truth from a legal perspective. I know you have a preponderance of evidence, you have a burden of truth, but what would that be in this case? Like trying to weigh out what we're trying to see with facts, information, truth, fake, whatever,
Yeah, honestly, that was kind of a question that I was even thinking because, in law school, they teach you, fact check. Like, but when it comes to things like the truth, even when you get to court, you have your plaintiff and your defendant. They both have their own versions of the truth, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. And honestly, in the court system, it comes down to who can tell something more believable, whose truth works better.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's really hard. I was thinking as y'all were talking, like, what is a standard for the truth? who gets to be the judge of what the truth is?
And I took like some law classes. They use the word reasonable a lot. Is that something that you guys use as like a guide, or somebody uses like, what would a reasonable person think in a circumstance? What would they do? And it's like, I feel like a lot of times nowadays, I don't know what's reasonable anymore.
True.
Reasonable is not set in stone.
It's
kind of like, what would the general consensus think? But you can argue as to what reasonable is.
Wow.
Definitely.
That's the thing that makes it like, the law is not black and white. Like, there's so many gray areas, and I think that's what makes this particular topic really hard to navigate, is because there's so many gray areas. Nothing here is black and white. But like I said earlier, I think the first step that they should start taking, at least the government needs to step in and start regulating, as far as when it comes to our personal data is number one that needs to be, that's agenda item number one, your personal data. But I do corporate law, and in corporate law, there's corporate responsibility. And we have, kind of third-party companies that rate us on our corporate responsibility. There needs to be some kind of regulatory agency that, is grading these tech companies on their social responsibility, because it seems like that they have none. So I think the most important thing here is it's really writing new laws, getting regulation in, and that's maybe the first step from a practical perspective. But as far as when it comes to like us in our daily lives, I mean, I think that's a little bit harder to navigate.
I think one thing we could do on a personal level is just like staying grounded in what matters, man. Like, I think there's a lot of BS that comes out in the news that can affect us emotionally when, if we turn off our phones, our TV, it's not even real anymore. So I think a lot of what we can do just as people is just, pay attention to what affects us directly and what actually matters. Because a lot of the shit don't really even matter.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
the thing,
I
what
agree.
affects you though. So how we just now finished Freedom is a Constant Struggle. In that book, like, I didn't know I was connected to Israel like that until I read that book.
I feel you.
I definitely wouldn't have cared about that as much. I've definitely watched videos like on it's another show on YouTube. I forgot the name of it is now. It used to be my favorite, but it had Palestinians and Israeli people like talking together and conversing on their beef or not. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, but it's kind of interesting. But I didn't really know that impacted me here in Georgia, Atlanta, like on a daily basis. So, or even the fact that we give 8.5 million to them every day. So, like, I don't know how much I can subscribe to only focus on what hurts me or what I'm in my vicinity going on or whatever, because I don't know what doesn't impact me. Like a lot of people didn't know social media was going to impact us this way.
It's
Zach. My question is, what generation of African Americans, Blacks, Latinos have ever received the news outlet to be true? Like, there's been radio stations back in the 80s and 70s that have censored Black people from the actual truth. So me watching Fox News or NBC, I'm not expecting them to really tell me what's good for me.
True.
I don't know. That's just how I feel about watching the news and just getting information. I just try to pick through the BS. I don't know if you guys feel that way.
Definitely.
Another thing non-news related I feel like people can do is like, and they talked about it some, is just like limiting notifications, because notifications definitely pull you into your social device. So like if it's an app that is like, I like to use it, but it's not completely relevant, all my apps, I'm gonna go through the notification settings. I want notifications for this and this, but for this, I might just turn that shit all the way off. Like, I don't want you sending me nothing.
Facebook sends me a notification every day about somebody's birthday, bro. Every day.
And then you get on and check the birthday, and then you looking at the next post on your timeline, and it's just,
Hey,
it drags you in.
that's the scheme, man. What's gonna always happen every year?
Our birthday.
Somebody's birthday. That's
Somebody's
the
birthday
best
every
scheme.
day.
That's the every day. It's always gonna happen too. You know
But
what I'm
that's what was
saying?
validating for me because I keep my phone on do not disturb. So I was like, I'm doing life right a little bit.
Hey, do not
I
disturb
don't.
is powerful. Also,
Awesome,
iPhone
yeah.
got settings where you can set do not disturb hours, and that's what I do. So like only certain people can call me
Yeah.
between certain hours. If not, that shit going to voicemail.
Mine is
You have to leave me a
24/7,
text.
but still.
Wow.
24/7. Wow.
Yes.
Nah,
Even when
that's
I'm at work.
nah. Dang. Wow. You hard to reach then.
Right.
See that's where I'm the opposite at. I'm very much so a talk on the phone kind of person. I'm very much so a FaceTimer. I'm very much so let's meet up. Obviously, it's been hard with quarantine. I'm not the best texter. I'm not going to even claim that, but I'm more like a hey, like present moment. Let's talk. Let's catch up. You know, that's me.
I think one thing that just came to my mind is I think older people talk about how kids are always on social media. Like you'll be in the room with your friends and y'all both on y'all phones talking
Yeah.
to people or interacting with people that's not even there. But I think you just have to be conscious of like self-aware enough to say, okay, let's be in the moment and let's have like those interactions actually mean something. Because even though older people didn't have their phone, they still haven't had some good conversations that they should have had a long time ago. Like my dad, I was talking to my dad after one of the book club meetings. He was like, "Shoot, I don't even think I remember telling you about how to deal with the police." Now that I think about it, it's sort of like, okay, even though we didn't have the social media around, it brings up things that could be discussed. Like you can have conversations outside of it. You have to be present. You have to be thinking about it. But just because you're not on social media doesn't mean you're doing better than if you were.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting point, man. Because you're right. Like being the like how that. I mean, I think we take for granted how dynamic it is to be having a live conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like we're able to feed off each other's ideas real time, and you can do that similarly in social media. But think about how different that is being dynamic with somebody that's in person with you. Like think about the people that our loved ones that we got around us, and like just interacting with them in that real time moment. You know what I'm saying? Like it can set up a whole domino effect down another path, but the decision to indulge your phone could change the whole set of dominoes, and being mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? So like, limiting that.
What would y'all say after watching this is like, well, are you gonna change anything after watching the documentary or like after talking about this now? Like, or are you just like, well, I mean, it is what it is. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Or like what's how has this impacted y'all?
This impacted me like knew it. Nah, I'm playing.
Yo, for me, I'm just like I'm fine tuning my notification settings. I'm watching my screen time a little more, and I feel like now that I'm aware, I'm probably less likely to fall into the trap. Even though we all fall into the trap sometimes, but my awareness is kind of, in a way, lead me away from it.
What about you, Jenna?
Yeah, I think it's definitely made me more aware of how much time I'm spending on social media. And I think even just being more aware of the conversations that I'm having with people. Like it was kind of interesting. I went to lunch with one of my friends last week, and she's a minority, like us all. And she had told me that she was a Republican. Well, wait, hold on. Like,
It's a beautiful thing.
After watching the documentary, I think I was more. Had she had told me this before I had watched it, I think I wouldn't have been in a space to listen. But I think it just made me more like, okay, well, let me see where you're coming from. And then, just kind of hearing the things that are like perpetuated by the other side, it just kind of makes you think like, I kind of know where this is coming from. So I'm not even upset about it. Because this is coming from, you've been like flooded with this, like through social media. So it's like I ain't even mad at you at this point.
It's your fault, sis.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
So that was kind of an interesting thing for me.
They said that power to polarize.
Yeah.
What about you, Chanel? Anything different afterwards?
I'm gonna try to be more mindful about the content that I allow in my space. Because I know like sometimes when I get on Instagram, I might like go to a page and kind of like everybody else says, there's like a rabbit hole. And sometimes it's not the good energy or like good things, but I still get stuck in it. So because I know that there's an algorithm that's going based off of what I'm already looking at, I want to try to tailor it to what I need, as opposed to like something that's going to be have a negative impact on me.
I feel that. Marquise?
You gotta unmute yourself, bro.
He's trying to act like he ain't.
You on mute, bro.
Unmute yourself, dog.
He's not muted.
Yeah, he is.
He is
I'm
muted.
on
He's
mute.
muted. Okay, he's muted. My bad, bro.
But I can't.
You know how you be acting like you froze.
Sorry, I was
somebody?
muted.
Yeah, there you go.
My bad. To be honest, I haven't even watched the documentary. I'm sorry I don't have any input on it. I'm probably gonna watch it tonight if I have time before I go to bed.
Oh, you good, man. You still provide a lot of good insight, man. We appreciate that.
Thank you, but you guys inspired me.
Man, that's cool, Marcus. Thanks for joining.
That was Marquise.
Marquise. Oh, I'm sorry. Now I don't know whose mouth's moving.
Yo, I've been called worse, so I'll take Marcus, man.
Bruh,
Cool,
it just got an M next to your name right now.
Yeah, nah, no doubt.
And
So I usually
he's
go by my
Marcus.
last name.
Oh,
Cool.
Dillard.
It's cool, man.
Cool.
The real Marcus.
Yeah.
Real Marcus.
You know, I haven't watched it either. The thing I'm thinking about right now is Zach said like everything is nutrients. So you got to watch what you eat, like watch what you consume. Same way with your diet, like with social media, with TV, you got to watch what you eat. It's all nutrients. So what comes in is gonna come out.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I've been like following hip hop my entire life. I've been big Jay-Z fan growing up, J. Cole fan. I don't even follow their social medias because it's not influencing my life at all. Like I hear the music if it drops, but I don't need to see them promoting this lifestyle because that's not the same lifestyle I'm living. That makes sense.
I feel that.
I got
follow
you.
one guy who just reposts everything about hip hop, and that's all I need. You know, I don't need to follow Drake and the Kendricks and the J. Cole's. I don't need that right now.
I think, yeah. I mean, something else that I learned. I guess I'm not even a big fan really, but I don't have a problem with social media, and I have a problem with people that indulge. But really being aware of why you're using it, and if it's fulfilling that goal and fulfilling enjoyment as well, cool. But the moment you see that inching into something else, being aware that it's going there and it's not becoming something that you want to indulge in intentionally, and you find yourself subconsciously doing something, then reel it back in. It should serve its purpose and its place.
I think we have the hardest job. Like we have to not only teach our kids how to be proper citizens in society, but we also got to teach them how to be proper citizens online. Like, the one thing you post may destroy your entire career in 5 years. You probably will forget about the tweet. We see athletes come up with tweets that they tweeted back in high school, and now they can't even sign a contract because of something they tweeted as 15, 16 year old.
Man, that's
it's sad.
crazy.
That's
crazy to even have to. And that's a whole, I'm so glad you brought that up, man. That's a whole nother level. How do you even get ahead of that? You know what I'm saying? Like as a kid, like just the evolution that you go through, you're like, of course I wasn't thinking what I was thinking 10 years ago or 5 years ago or even 2 years ago. And I have to be mindful now So now I'm thinking about it as, okay, how can I be presented? And I'm consciously evaluating, how do I need to present this? How do I need to present this? How do I need to present this? This is my brand. This is my brand. How do I need to present this? And now it's not natural anymore.
Right. So like I work in law enforcement, so I have to pretty much watch what I say on social media, watch what I post. And as a black man, it's already tough enough, but I have to present things in a certain type of way so it doesn't backfire on me later on.
Yeah, that's real. That's a whole nother level to consider though. But yeah, man, that's a good point.
What about you, Zach?
Everything y'all said, like this from nutrition, it's all nutrition. Everything you take in to, like, I've already started to sit there and watch what I like in general. Like, I can look at my Explore page and be satisfied with what I see. Like, I don't have to sit there and be like, what the heck? What is this? Like, for a good minute, all I saw was business stuff, real estate, and the most positive black stuff out there. Like, that's what my Explore page was like. Then I got back into it. See, that's why I'm kind of upset sports came back, bro, because then I got back to like looking at like LeBron and AD dunking on folks and seeing how the
yes, sir.
Bro, the algorithm just takes you right back, and I don't really like it as far as how we're moving as a people. Because like how y'all mentioned, the guy in the video said, like, we have not developed our processing power as fast as all this technology is. So like, I think we're still on elementary level humane issues, and we're never gonna make it to college when we're just distracted all day, every day. So I've definitely curated my Explorer page, the people I'm following. I used to follow like 7,500 people, so I had to keep on unlike it over time here.
Damn.
So yeah, like I'm just now breaking under 4,000 again. So I every now and then, and it literally takes hours to do now. Like, I'm spending hours trying to get away from
trying to undo it.
Exactly.
That's how it happens, man. Like, I've been learning some stuff about like the adaptive unconscious. It learns things quickly, but it unlearns them slowly, right? So the things we learn is harder to unlearn because our brain is manufactured to recognize patterns. You know what I'm saying? And so like when you start something, it's harder to unstart it. You know? So that's real.
I gotta look at Daisha last comment, bro.
Real.
Oh, she said we need schools. We need classes. I saw that. That was funny.
I think you're talking about this one though.
Oh
man, I did some stupid stuff on social media when I was a kid too.
Yo, you know what scares me? Like a Facebook video. Right. Always scares me.
Exactly, the famous person I know.
About it, man. How it feel?
Nah, bro. Nah, the algorithm screwed me up, bro. I'm telling you that. Like, I'm surprised when I see something reach the Explore page. So, like, nah. I'm trying to use it for good now. I'm trying to use, bro. That's what I'm most upset about. That's really what I'm most upset about. Is that whenever you post something positive, bro, like for instance, I posted.
That's crazy.
I posted something that was definitely like the way I got up was just thirst traps, right? So then I started slowing down on thirst traps. And then I sit here and try to post like some poetry or some positive stuff. And it's like, okay, nope. And then I posted something with Haven where it was like one of them TikTok challenges, and I just had a little provocative joke in there, you know, something. And they see, that thing blew up. And I was like, hold on now.
You're like, dang, I need to be doing more of this, right?
No, because I'm not. I'm more aware than I used to be. Like,
right. I feel you. That's the pull, though. That's the pull. That's how you feel.
You gotta put the thirst trap in with the information, man.
I'm gonna go
edutainment, man.
But as soon as I get that right, bro, I'm coming out with a towel and I'm gonna let the thing loose, and it's gonna be a book. It's gonna be a book.
Genius.
Dog, like, I gotta find a way to screw up this algorithm, man.
Man, that's some funny crap, man.
But yeah, I keep coming up on 2 hours. I know about here. We kind of like moving away from this. And like people get a little bored. We got other stuff to do. It's 9 o'clock. My bedtime used to be 8. So
Wow, a teacher's life.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
I want to say thank you to all y'all for
I just want to
coming
thank you
in.
guys for letting me cam up and join your conversation. It was fun, and you guys opened my mind up to a bunch of different things I didn't even think about. So I just want to thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
No
much
doubt,
love,
bro.
man. Be on the
Marquis.
lookout because we're gonna be doing the book club stuff like this every other week. So we'll have stuff that's relevant, you know, kind of like this documentary was, but we'll also be doing the book stuff. So we'd love to have y'all there too.
True. Yeah, I'm gonna be back. man.
Yeah, I follow the Instagram page, so I'll be looking out for it.
All right.
Appreciate you. Much love, man.
All right, so I appreciate y'all, Marquise, Marcus, Chanel, Jenna. Appreciate y'all coming on. Kenny, we know we get you every now and then, but you always drop the dimes when you on. So
I try,
again,
man. I try to do a little something.
So again,
Man,
like,
I'm still always a student.
I'm trying to get that like, comment, share up in there.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel.
There you go.
All right, damn.
All right, y'all take it easy, man.
All right.
Much love.
Y'all be easy. Good to see y'all. Jenna, keep killing it. What up? What's up, man? UA in Texas still?
Yeah, I'm still. Are we live still?
Yeah, you want me to end it? Here,
Oh.